In your family, who's the boss? I was curious to see how my kids would answer that question, unsure of the outcome. And much to my surprise, they were quick. It's Dad. Well, how do you know? Oh, that's simple. When Dad puts his hand down, it's over. No more discussions. Dad's the boss. I had to smile. Never realized I had that kind of authority. And be truth, probably never did. Who's the boss? We come this day to celebrate the festival of Christ the King. A festival in essence to answer the question, who's the boss? It's an interesting festival in that it's a modern festival. It didn't appear on the church calendar until the mid-1920s. Sandwiched right there between the two great wars, in the midst of worldwide chaos. Empires and kings were waning, being replaced in some places by new and stronger democracies, in others by dictators. It was a dangerous time in the world. And it was felt that the church needed to take a stand and remind people of who it was that was truly in charge. Who's the boss? Hence Christ, the King. Over much of my early ministry, I really questioned this whole festival. Can we in this country even begin to appropriate the image of Christ as King? I mean, frankly, the only notion of king in this country was that we didn't like kings. We overthrew George III, and we haven't looked back. But the events of the recent decade have said, maybe this is a more important festival than I thought. As more and more leaders have assumed, and we have been willing to give them almost godlike images. And before I get accused of being partisan, it doesn't matter whether they're Republican or Democrat. Both parties are guilty of such elevation. We are very susceptible to that notion of authority and power. It tantalizes us. We want to jump on the bandwagon. And so it's important for us to pause at the end of yet another church year and to reflect on who's the boss. The question that the Gospels ask, and the question that if you really poke at Paul long enough, you hear as well, is who is this Jesus? And the Gospels and Paul agree that to understand who this Jesus is, the only vantage point that counts is the foot of the cross. For Jesus' authority, his claim as king, comes on the throne of a cross. A willingness to die. Now, over the course of my life, I have encountered a few people that are willing to die for a cause. But I have yet to find anyone that's willing to die for me. And yet that's precisely what Christ has done. In my book, he's the boss. And until I find a leader that's willing to die for me, I think I'll stick with him. For as Pilate declared so clearly in John's Gospel in the midst of that trial scene, here's the man. He's the boss. Jesus shall reign where'er the sun does its successive journeys run. His kingdom stretch from shore to shore, till moon shall wax and wane no more. Blessings abound where'er he reigns. The prisoners leap to loose their chains. The weary find eternal rest, and all who suffer want are blessed. Let every creature rise and bring peculiar honors to our King. Angels descend with songs again, and earth repeat the loud